Hey, 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 team. We got myself and my beautiful fiance here. Say hi.
Hi.
Oh man, we got a packed house tonight on Start Talk. We got people calling in from or tuning in from Colombia. We got a lot of Aussies in the house. Love that. We got Singapore, Malaysia, all over the U.S., Canada. Just so excited that everybody has joined us tonight on isagenixlive.com for the latest Start Talk. We do these the first Monday of every month, and it really allows everyone to get into the heads of all of our Start ambassadors. As many of you know, this is now a movement full of over 43,000 people across the globe who are just living lives of contribution and freedom, and it is so exciting to watch it grow every day. And so we're going to dive right into it here, and typically on these Start Talks, we pose so we ask everybody. Awesome. We ask everybody to post their questions. If you could ask Peta anything, what would it be? And we want to thank you for asking all those questions. And we do this with every single Start Talk. And that's really what these are for. So how would this leader answer this question? But every single month that we post these, we get the exact same questions every single month. And it is nice to get a variety of answers of how the different leaders approach different questions. But tonight we're going to do something a little bit different. We've looked at all the questions you've posted, and again, they're all great questions, and we've kind of themed this call out to really address 4 or 5 key topics that I think is going to be totally game-changing for everybody tuning in to Isagenix Live and the Google Hangout here. We also want everybody to encourage everybody to just post your comments. You can see the live chat thing at the bottom of isagenixlive.com. Post any questions that you have. If we have time at the end, we'll get to those. Or just post a takeaway or a big aha moment that you've had while listening to this Start Talk. But the first thing I want to say is take a look at the questions that were asked on the Facebook page, on the Start Facebook page, and I would encourage every single one of you to go back and watch some of the other Start Talks that we've had, because I can guarantee that every question that was asked has been answered on a previous Start Talk. I mean, we've had Emily and Hayden, Zach and Eden Slobin, Audrey Moss, Anna and Morgan Richards. We've had Chris Harder, C.G. Siddons. We've had like all the ambassadors, Laura Krulish, Journey Hencart, and all of them have already answered a lot of the questions that you posed. So I would encourage everybody, go to YouTube, type in Start Talk, and go watch some of these previous Start Talks to see some of your questions being answered. Rachel Pedretti from Australia posted just an epic post in the Start group the other day. She just said how great the Start Talks were, and one of her things is she starts every brand new associate with having them watch one of the Start Talks, because they answer so many questions, especially new people have when they're getting started. So with that, we're going to get right into it. So, honey, you ready? Ready to tackle this bad boy? Okay, sweet. So first question, and this came from Kay Rachel, and there's so many new people starting every day with Isagenix, and a lot of them are always wondering, can I really do this? Like, I don't know if I have a ton of belief in myself yet, or the right mindset, or I don't know if I'm totally committed yet. And Kay's question was, how did you find the courage, and what gave you hope to know that you would succeed?
I mean, the thing that everybody needs to remember is that you don't get assurance from anybody other than yourself, and you don't get belief from anybody other than yourself. And it's easy to just go through network marketing and have people say, well, I just need someone to believe in me, or if this happens, then I'll believe in myself, or if this happens, then I'll believe in it. And it's not the way it works. Self-belief is something that you achieve by going out and doing the thing. So it's not something that I don't believe it's anything that other people can give you. So many people can pour belief into you and say, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. And that happens everywhere in isogenics. Everywhere you go, you have people pouring belief into you. That's the beautiful thing about our culture. But it doesn't matter if you don't go to work on the cellular belief that you have, and the only way to get that is to go to work, and it's not going to come before you go to work. If you feel like you're crap at talking to people, you need to go and talk to people, and then you will believe that you can talk to people. If you feel like you're not so good at enrolling, you need to go and enroll, and then you will believe that you can enroll. And it's just a matter of doing the thing before you feel like you can do the thing. And the courage comes from, I mean, it all comes down to the same thing. How bad do you really want it? If you really want it, you don't whinge and sulk and moan and you know, blame other people and find excuses. You just get it done. And it really is as simple as that. And I said to Eric, if I could sum up everything that I want to teach in 8 words, it would be, if you want it, you will do it. And it's as simple as that. Everything that we need is there. You get the belief when you do the work. If you need to learn how to do the work, go and learn how to do the work. And it's just one of those things that comes with time, and it's just one of those things that comes with you making a decision. How badly do I really want this? You know, yes, it takes courage to do something and I saw the question, when there's no other young people doing it. But I mean, let's get real here. More courage is required to stay poor, stay sick, stay fat, stay unhappy, stay in a negative environment. That takes more courage than stepping out and doing something different. So I think we need to get really clear on what courage really is, and we need to just realize how capable we are as humans, and realize that for us to just step out and do something different, we're capable of so much more than that, and we need to not make it seem like such a huge thing, because this business isn't such a huge thing. The courage it requires to be a leader is, I mean, it seems so huge and so big, but it seems easier and more within your reach and more accessible the more you just go and do the thing. Go and do the thing. Go and enroll. Go and build. Go to the events. Watch the videos. Go and have more conversations. Just go and do the thing, and then all of a sudden you will feel 10 foot tall and bulletproof. You won't walk out of an event and feel 10 foot tall and bulletproof unless you do the things you learn at the event. So courage, it's learned. Belief, it's learned, and you have to earn it. So you just got to go out there and do the thing, and not wait for a magic wand to come and say, here you go, here's some courage, here is some belief, here are some capabilities. It's just all earned. And I think if you need courage to do anything, it's to just go and I was about to say that word. Go and stuff it up. Go and stuff it up and stuff it up and stuff it up. And if you can have the courage to say, you know what, this might not work, it might work. I might sound stupid, I might sound good, I know it doesn't matter. I'm just going to do it anyway. That's the only courage you need, because if you can have the courage to be okay whether you fail or, and I mean fail as in like someone says no, like a big deal, but if you can have the courage to just go for it without even knowing what the outcome is, then you're predicting your outcome for yourself, and your outcome is success. So you just have to just take the stress off yourself and just go for it.
That's the best. I mean, so I wrote down, self-belief is gained by doing the thing. You know, nobody can give you belief other than yourself, and you gain that belief by just going out and doing the thing, talking to people, enrolling people, watching the videos. And, you know, a common thing that we get all the time on the Facebook page is, you know, how do I go talk to people? What do I say? All that stuff. How do I connect with people? How do I prospect? And, you know, you talked about kind of learning the skills. Would you just suggest going to isogenicsbusiness.com and having them learn some of those skills?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, go to isogenicsbusiness.com. Isogenicsbusiness.com is the manual for everything. And I sometimes when I see people post questions and start on isogenicsbusiness.com, I just want to grab them and shake them and be like, just go and look at isogenicsbusiness.com. Sometimes it goes in one ear and out the other, in one ear and out the other, and people hear it all the time. Go to isogenicsbusiness.com, go to startyourlife.com. But it's like they're waiting for a different answer. It's like, no, I've heard that answer before. I would like a different answer, please. What's the shortcut to learning the skills? It's like they just want to put the computer up to their ear and learn all the skills like this. but you have to learn isogenicsbusiness.com. It's like buying a franchise to Dunkin' Donut and get given the manual and not looking at it and then expecting to have a successful franchise. When you start an Isogenics business, isogenicsbusiness.com is your Bible at the beginning. You've got to know it back to front, inside out, and then your Isogenics business can begin.
Love it. Okay, so next, there's always a question whenever we post questions about, and this one came from Coral Berger, so thank you, Coral, for your question. But she asked, what is your process for launching a new associate? And I know that so many times you get asked, and I get asked, everybody gets asked, what's the secret? If you could just tell me one secret to building a successful Isogenics business, one thing that you've learned, what would that be? And I know that question used to get you upset because there is no one secret. But over time, I know your answer has kind of evolved into this message of simplicity. So can you just kind of talk about how simplicity really weaves into getting associates started off the right way?
Yeah. I mean, the reason that question used to get me so bothered was because everybody is so much more capable than they let on. And when people aren't realizing their potential, it frustrates me like nothing else. When people act so helpless in this business, like as if someone else has something they don't have, or as if, if only this, that frustrates me, because every single person is so capable of this. It's just they are pretending that they're not. That frustrates me. And so people used to say, what's the secret? What's the secret? I just used to want to blow my head off, because I was thinking, you have everything that you need. What else do you need? And I didn't want to just hug them or shake them and just blow fairy dust on them and say, you can do it. But, it's when you break it all down and you actually can give someone a secret, which I still don't think there's one secret. But I think the closest thing to a secret we're ever going to get in network marketing is simplicity. And it takes us all a long time to learn. It took me a long time to learn. I'm still not the best at it. I still practice it, and I still always ask myself, how can I go up a gear in terms of simplicity? How can I make this simpler for others and simpler for myself? Because we all know from reading all the business textbooks and all the leadership books that people will do things when they are simple, and people will not do something if it's not simple. They'll feel crippled. So if we have a look at what network marketing is all about, it's about empowering other people. It's not a retail business. It's not a one-man show. So if you have a complicated brain, like I have a complicated brain, I can do all these things in my head at one time. That's not good for network marketing. So when we're going to master any skill in network marketing to grow a big team, which is going to grow us a big income, we have to master simplicity. And even if it doesn't suit us at the beginning, because we have ideas and we have the best way to do it, and I can make up this own algorithm for this, and I can just make this and this and this and this, that's putting ourselves before our people. And it's putting our own idea of how this should go before the way that it really should go. So we hear Lynn Hagedorn say, it's so easy, and we go to work to complicate it. We hear Jay Bennett say, there's 3 steps to network marketing. Use the products, learn the system. Use the products, talk to people, learn the system. We hear it, but yet still as a humans, we jump at, no, it can't be that simple. I need to make it harder. Success can't be that simple. I need to make it harder. You cannot possibly earn that money just by doing ABCs. And that's the paradigm we have to shift now, is you do earn that money by doing the ABCs in network marketing. That is why it's the business of the 21st century, because anybody can do it. But that's the trap we fall into, is, no, but I've been to school for 10 years and I've learned that success is complicated, or I've been working my butt off for 10 years and I've learned that to earn money is really, really tough. And we have to let that go when we come to network marketing and realize that the secret sauce is simplicity. And Isogenics lays it all out on a silver platter for us. And where we trip up is not using it as it's presented. So when you're starting someone off, the new associate checklist is your number one, your go-to. You don't pass go until you fill that out with your people. And that is my favorite thing that has ever been launched in Isogenics, even more than the e-shot, even more than strawberry shakes, more than anything, because it is like, how much simpler can Isogenics make it for us? Like, they even go through on there the whole step to taking someone from product user to product share at a business building, all you have to do is ask the questions. So I think if we dial it back a little bit and think, okay, where am I adding myself too much into this process? Where am I trying to be the rock star rather than trying to empower people? So it's like, am I trying to be the rock star and regurgitate all the information, or am I really just going to let myself go and use the systems and empower this person? So that's where we have to check in, and we are all going to admit that we've all been trying to make it really complicated. We've all been here. Ask anybody that I've sponsored, and they'll say I used to talk Chinese to them. Now ask them, and they'll say I speak like I'm talking to a dog because I'm trying to keep it that simple. The first step is the new associate interview and the new associate checklist. And when I enroll someone, I'll go through that and I'll say, I'm doing this with you because this is what you do with the others, and this is how you know what to do in the next step. Because your job as a sponsor is the tour guide and the cheerleader. It is not the do every single thing for the person and enroll people for them and blah, blah, blah. It is I'm the tour guide and the cheerleader. What do you want for your life? Tell me, and I will tell you where to go. Do you want your products paid for? Fantastic. You'll find this all out in the new associate interview. You don't even have to make the questions up yourself. Do you want your products paid for? Great. We go to the start section of isagenixbusiness.com for that. That is all there. Do you want to launch a business? Great. We have a launch and a training section of isagenixbusiness.com for that. Do you want to find out how to talk with young people? Fantastic. We have a whole website just for that. If somebody is enrolling with you and they're just a product user, you don't have to go into isagenixbusiness.com just yet. isaproduct.com, bookmark it. Great. It is just that simple. What do you want? Let me show you where that is. What do you want? Let me show you where that is. What do you want? Let me show you where that is. And then you're a cheerleader and you're an accountability partner. You're the person getting them to the events. You're the person cheering them on. But you are not the hand holder, because that just doesn't work in this business. And we try and we try and we try. And we know that in network marketing there's lots of blues. There's lots of people who like to just cuddle everybody through the whole business. And that's great if you would like your business to move slow. But if you would like your business to move fast, you need to empower people and you need people to be responsible for their own success. Just because you are the sponsor, it does not mean that you are responsible for everybody's success. You are responsible for doing your job. You are responsible for equipping them. You're responsible for cheering them on. You're responsible for empowering them. You're responsible for keeping it simple. And I think you didn't ask me the sponsor question just now. I just answered that in one question.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I was going to ask you, because that's the truth. I mean, what you just touched on is so true. Is that a lot of people, they'll put this massive weight on their shoulders that they are responsible because they just enrolled somebody in Isagenix, that they are now solely responsible for that person's success. And if that person is not, going manager in their first week, or hitting executive, or they're not, sometimes we put people on this pedestal like this is going to be the person that's going to change everything for me, and all of a sudden sometimes they don't do it, and that makes me feel like a failure. And so just kind of maybe if you can just talk on you already kind of did about the role of a sponsor and what and maybe how it's their responsibility for their own success, and like you said, you are the tour guide and cheerleader, and having that posture.
Yeah, it's a tough balance, and it's one that we're all still figuring out. Nobody has this nailed because we're all caring by nature. I think network marketing is one of those industries that attracts people who are caring by nature. And when you've been in the industry for a while, you see so much in other people. You can enroll someone who couldn't read or write, and they would be successful in this. So it's one of those things where you can see success in everybody, and then you get frustrated sometimes if they can't see it in themselves. So you try and pull them, come and be ready, come and be ready, come and be ready, because you just want it so bad for them. But you cannot, like the old saying goes, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. It's the same thing. So sometimes we just have to let go and realize that our sponsor, when we enroll someone in this business, we're giving them an opportunity. We have to remember that there's a line between caring, nurturing sponsor and business builder who still needs time to attract more leaders and attract more business builders, whereas some people just spend all of their time on trying to get people ready who are not ready. And that just screws with your relationship with them, firstly, and secondly, it's just not efficient, and it's just silly. So we've got to realize, and I think the key to this as a sponsor, and the key to being a good sponsor, is communication and effective communication. And this is why the new associate interview is so good, because it gives you the commitment. But it's just communication the whole way. It's saying to them, hey, look, I'm putting X amount of energy into you, and if we're going to continue to do it like that, I need you to give me X amount of energy back, because I still am building a business. I'm still building a team. I still have so many other people that I need to help. I'm going to give you exactly what you give this business. So if you are not ready right now, let me know, and I will be here when you are. That is effective communication. It is fair, it is honest, and it's empowering, because it's letting this person know that if they're not going to jump on your team course, if they're not going to come to the events, if they're not going to do their bits, then perhaps it's not their time. And that's not fair on you to be spending 40 hours a week on them, and they're spending 30 minutes, not even 30 minutes a week back. They're not gonna be successful. So you also have a responsibility to set them up for success and let them know exactly what it takes. I mean, if someone's not going to get on the team call and they're not going to come to the events, and they say, Peter, can you do a 3-way call at 3 a.m.? No, I cannot do that. You need to do your bit, because that's how you set them up for success. It's not mollycoddling. And I think about my journey in network marketing, and my amazing sponsor didn't build. We all know that. There's so many people in that situation, whatever. But if I had have had somebody who was, I was expecting them to do everything for me, I wouldn't have been successful. So you've got to just think about what's best for this person. Am I setting them up for success, or am I letting my own stuff get in the way of blessing and releasing, or empowering, or letting them go? And it all comes back to honest communication. I mean, for guys, I've heard them say, how bad do you want it? How much time are you going to give me? I'm going to give you the same amount. It's like that. Is that quick? Girls can do the same thing. Girls don't have to be like on the phone for 2 hours. And you've got to separate relationship and business time. And you've got to realize that that's not being brutal. That's being an effective sponsor, and that's being someone who cares about this person's success, because network marketing is not babysitting. And just on that, something I actually do with some people that I train, I'm going to do after this call, is I get people to map out their energy. I say, draw a pie chart. That's your energy. It's infinite, but just pretend you've got 100 atoms of energy. Where is that all going each week? Where are you putting it? And they'll say, most of them sometimes will say, I've got like 60% on trying to get people to move who aren't ready to move. So I say, great, okay, and how is that working? And they say, it's not working. So, okay, so let's draw our pie chart, and let's put our energy, 5% of our week is pouring love into people who aren't ready. Because that is like, they always know you're there, you're always pouring belief into them, but it's not taking up 60% of your week. So I say to them, 5% of your week, send them a text once a week or something. Send them a text, send them an email. I'm thinking of you. I just want you to know that, you can do anything you want. I'm always here for you. 5% of the time, pouring love, taking care of the people who aren't ready, rather than 60% of the time, get ready, please be ready, you can do it, you can do it. So it's just managing your energy, and equal energy, equal effort for the people who are going to move, because this is the only way to do this without going crazy.
I love that pie chart example, and that's one of the reasons why I love that new associate checklist. Is if or a new associate interview, if you send the new associate interview to somebody and say, hey, fill this out and send it to me within 24 hours, right there you've kind of got a gauge on the person's commitment level. If they send it right back to you, obviously that person is very committed. But if they take 3, 4, 5 a week, 2 weeks, they don't send it back, you can already check and see where their commitment level is, and it's not very high. And so I think that's a huge thing. And also, what you said about timing really is everything in this business. Trying to get people to move so badly when they don't want to move themselves. So many people spend so much energy on that. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going to move eventually. I always give the example of Laura Stevens, who will be on a Start Talk in the future. She's got one of the fastest growing businesses in isogenics right now. She always says, I watched Kelly Dicker for 3 years, and I watched her success, and I said no to her for 3 years because I just wasn't ready. But now finally and I can guarantee you that Kelly didn't spend a lot of time with Laura during those 3 years. Maybe she, followed up with her a little bit, as you said, spent maybe 5% of her time sending an encouraging text, checking in. But once she was ready to move, now, Kelly's spending like most all her time with Laura. So I think that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question here, and this is one that I know everybody's excited to hear. I know that this is a question that I get a ton because everybody wants to know about how you run your Wellness Wednesdays, and I know something that you're so passionate about, and something that we're all so passionate about is the culture of isogenics. And I know you're doing a piece at Celebration really all on unifying our culture, really being one team, one unified team saying one message. And, I think that this is one of the most crucial things, probably the most crucial thing, going forward to become a multi-billion-dollar company, and, being the company that impacts more and more people's lives than any other, is really being all on one team, regardless of financial links, being willing to help and support anybody. And that's what makes Start so great, is it's just a massive community of people that'll just help and serve. And so, first question, can you talk about the kind of unity and why that's so important, this one team? And then also, let's really get into the structure of how you structure your Wellness Wednesdays that are continually going on every single week in Perth on Wednesdays. They're going across all around the world in New Zealand. People have started them in the U.S. here. So let's get into that.
Yeah, so, I'll do Wellness Wednesday first, and then I'll talk about unity and why it's so important. Because when we started Wellness Wednesdays, we didn't have as good as understanding of why one team was so important as it is now. And when we started Wellness Wednesday, it started for the pure fact that we all cared about the same thing for other people. And it was always built on the premise that it wasn't my event, and it wasn't just me that cared. And that was so crucial, because now that I've left Perth, it is so evident that from the very beginning, it was always about everybody truly, deeply loving and caring about the young people of our community. And regardless of who was there to speak, it was something they cared about keeping going. And that is the most important thing for people who are starting a weekly meeting. The second most important thing when we started that meeting was that it was going to run every week, regardless of whether there was 2 people there or whether there was 500 people there. Because too many people start opportunity meetings and they'll go for 2, 4, 6 weeks, and there won't be enough people coming, and then they'll give up. And that is not the way to build a legacy, and it's not the way to build a tribe, and it's not the way to build trust in the people that are following you. So from the very beginning at Wellness Wednesday, we had seasons. We had 300 people, and then in winter sometimes there'd be 80, and then there'd be 300, and then there'd be 100. But it didn't matter, because we were consistent to the vision, we were consistent to the mission, and we were consistent to having a safe place for people to come every single Wednesday. And we were consistent to having something that we didn't rely on external factors to decide whether we were going to do it. We weren't going to test it out and see how it went. We were going to determine, and we were going to predict at the beginning that it was going to keep going, and it was going to keep going, and it was going to keep going, regardless of whether other people believed it, regardless of whether it was full every week. It was a commitment from the beginning. And I know that there's opportunity meetings going on right now, and you people have stopped, and you wait, and there's not that many people come, and you stop, or it gets inconvenient, and then you stop. And that is just not the attitude you can have when you want to begin a long-term legacy event. And the word legacy is the most important thing there, because a legacy means that you are doing it after you leave. So it's not just after you leave, as in after you leave this country like I did. It's after you leave, as in then, let's get real here, after you go from Earth. And this is what we have to think of when we're getting really serious about what this means to us. And this is what I thought of at the very beginning of Wellness Wednesday. What's going to be here when I'm not even here anymore? How is this vision going to be sent to every single person that comes, to the point where it gets in them and that they want to keep this going for their kids and their kids and their kids? And that is what makes an event a legacy event, and that's what makes it something that if I leave, it doesn't matter. I just saw them change the venue in Perth, and I had nothing to do with it. It's got nothing to do with me anymore, because the vision is, and the passion, and I'll talk about the system, how it runs too, is just in everyone else's veins. They weren't doing it for me. I wasn't doing it for me. It's for the people to come. It's for the people who need a safe place to go every week, the people who don't have supportive people in their lives at all. It's for the people who are watching. And there was one girl who watched for 2 years, and then I saw her one day creep in the back and just sit at the very back. And she'd been watching to see if we were going to keep going. That's what she said to me. I was just going to see it, and I was waiting for you to stop, and you didn't stop. And now she's Crystal Executive. So people are watching you. If you post an opportunity meeting one week and then again and again and then you stop it, that's not the sort of consistency that's going to attract amazing leaders and a legacy tribe. It's casting the vision so big and so far ahead that it scares you. It's not a if it's going to work. It's a who do we need to make it work? What are we going to do to make it work? How committed are we really to this? Because, you know, Wellness Wednesday is grown to be something that's so much more than an opportunity meeting. And you know, I think about that. That's how we built our whole business. I mean, I'm going to get upset now, but it's also how, I mean, where we built in Perth was literally, for those who know, the home of tall poppy syndrome in the world. That's where if you do something different, everybody has something to say about it. So there's so many young people in Perth who are going through like this, becoming bold about the fact that they wanted to do things differently, and being that person who was positive. And a lot of them were getting cut down for it. And Wellness Wednesday was that place they could come every single week and get recharged and get reminded about the fact that it doesn't matter if most people don't get it, because you get it. And there's so many more people who are going to come and get it. So Wellness Wednesday served as the place. It served as a battery. It serves as a reminder, it serves as a community, and it also serves as a place where leaders can grow, because now, and I'll talk about how we did it, but now there is just so many leaders, so many levels deep, I can't even name them all. That's how it's crazy, who now can speak in front of an audience. They can nail the 10 steps to the stage, they can nail the whole opportunity presentation, and these are people who, when you first brought them up to share their story, had their head down, and just couldn't even look at the audience in the eye, and now they can public speak, and that is just huge. A sense of community. It's about so much more than just network marketing. It's about so much more than just isogenics. It's about it's about creating a community that people need. It's about creating something that's meaningful. It's about creating something that's really required for young people right now. So all of you start people who are thinking about it, take it a little bit more seriously when you're thinking about what opportunity really means. Because in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, is it just an opportunity meeting, or is it a weekly event which changes young people's lives? Is it a weekly event which keeps young people on the course? Is it the weekly event which helps young people realize how amazing they really are? Is it the weekly event where someone who is put down at work, told their crap, comes to a meeting and is applauded by everyone for sharing a 30-second story? So this is where I get so fired up about it, because some people just aren't ready to be that committed with a meeting. And if you are, you're going to create something which is so special. So how we do it at Wellness Wednesdays is we have, there's a committee. Firstly, I am not involved in any of it right now. We have a system and a standard. So the Wellness Wednesday flyer doesn't get passed around because there's a standard. And that's important, because we don't want someone to say, I went to a Wellness Wednesday and it was spoken by someone who didn't even know the slides, was not compliant. That's very important to us, is the standard, and that's very important for one team, is the standard, is that people are going to be compliant, they're going to know the slides, they're going to present with posture. That's important. So what we have is a system where there is a few levels to bring leaders up and get them to the point where they are presenting the whole thing. So it starts off with, and there's a committee, and they organize it all themselves. And again, Rose Chelani, I don't know if Rose is on here, Rose Chelani, Emma Mondella, they're the backbone of Wellness Wednesday at Home, in Perth, Melbourne, Auckland, all of it. And in San Diego, we're going to launch a big unified op meeting with slides and a flyer and everything that everyone can use. But there's a committee, and so there's people who organize the slides, there's people who organize the venue, there's people who organize the door. It's all community, it's all collaboration. And then these people aren't financially linked, by the way. They're not financially linked. Some of them I don't even know the names of now. And then when you come, if you want to be a speaker at Wellness Wednesday, the gradient is you share your story. So there's 3 or 4 30-second stories every week, and they're given the 30-second story template, and they nail it. And this is important because these templates are what build your business. So you'll share your 30-second story a few times. The next step, the gradient for you to become a speaker, is you open the event with a 10 steps to the stage by David Wood, and you go away and you practice it, and then you open the event, and that's about 5 minutes long, and you do that a couple of times. The next step from that is you will present next to someone else who has been presenting for a while. So we always have 2 people speaking. Someone who's been doing it for a while and a new person. So the new person can be supported and supported and supported until that new person becomes the experienced person, and then someone else comes up. So every week there's new people. Every week there's new stories. Every week there's just fresh energy, but it is the same presentation. It is the same system, but it is always new. And people go every single week. You say raise your hand if you come every week, and it's like half the room. They go to get recharged. They go because they learn something new. They go because they get to see their friends nail it on stage. They go because they want to learn the slides. They go because it's their family. And that's our system, and that keeps it a good event. And that's important. It's important that you raise people up, but it's important you keep it a good event. It's important that it's compliant. It's important that it's fun and high energy. Do some crazy stuff there. I don't know, handout stuff, your music, whatever you want to do that makes it different. But it's a system. The slides don't change. The story changes. The speakers change. The energy is just great. But it's and bringing it back to unity now. It's something that all downlines get involved in. And at the beginning, it was blocked off because we couldn't fit anyone else in. And looking back, that horrifies me that we had to do that. It really does. I'm like, I can't even believe that would come out of my mouth. But that's the way it was because we didn't know any better. But now we know there is no downline, sideline, crossline. There is none of that. If you want to go, you go. If you want to get involved, you get involved. There is no such thing as a downline there. Because, and I'll talk about all this at the leadership meeting. I'm not going to get in. I could talk about this for 45 hours. But the way our company is going, the way we are going, where we are going in terms of income, in terms of impact, in terms of the consciousness of our planet, there is no such thing as separation between downlines, and there won't be because we're recreating what network marketing is all about. We're not doing it like anyone has ever done before, and START really is leading the way with that. You see how many incredible people are collaborating. It's just the best thing in the whole world, and it's important because here's what you need to know as well. If you want to be the rock star, you can't take a holiday. Because if you're the rock star and it's all up to you to do the event, you can't take a holiday, and that's not freedom. So I think the START group have got it really locked down, and they've got it really nailed, and they prove that they care about the vision. They care about the vision for all, not just the people who are financially linked to us. And that's really the test. Do I care about the vision for all, or do I care about the vision only on the people that I'm getting paid from? And this is why I love START so much. You see CG's events, you see Rebecca, who did it in San Fran, you see all of these ones pop up, and it's just the best. This is about so much more than financial links. It is about so much more than that. And you're all nailing it and START.
Well, I mean, I hope everybody can really see, your passion. Obviously, the legacy that you created with this Wellness Wednesday and empowering so many young people is remarkable. And I think that's the whole thing. It's about empowering people. It's not about you. It's about getting people who, like you said, never would ever think about speaking in front of people because they're so scared. Their self-worth is so low. They don't believe a lot in themselves. It's about having them take that first step, getting them up there and sharing their 30-second story. That's a huge step for so many people. Then it's about maybe getting them to open the room. Then it's about getting them to do a presentation alongside somebody else. And so I think that whole thing about empowering people is really the underlying key with Wellness Wednesday. And I know some people watching the Hangout may be asking, what slides, are you using? And I know if I'm correct, you're basically just using the slides that Isagenix provides, which is the Experience Isagenix Opportunity presentation, or now the Start Your Life presentation if you're looking at a more younger crowd that you can find on startyourlife.com under the tool section. Is that right?
Yep, that's it. And we use the same one. It's the best. And you know what? Everybody that speaks at Wellness Wednesday now, Anna, Morgan, Ben, all of the people who learn to speak, they learn from watching the same thing every week. Because Wellness Wednesday is not about, it's about the people who come every week, but it can be the same presentation because it's all about you looking at your new person and seeing them see it for the first time. That's what it's all about. So everybody I watch, like Tom Walters and all these, they stand up and they just nail it. It's because they've watched it so many times. So we use that in the very beginning. We play Thank God I'm Alive. Same thing every week. When it hits 7 p.m., we flick on the movie and Thank God I'm Alive. We sometimes play Steve Jobs, or it opens up the whole event, and then the person comes out and they open, and then 5 minutes after, and we keep it an hour. We don't go over that because people have to get home to their kids, or some people drive an hour to get to Wellness Wednesday, and I'm sure they will do the same thing in your towns. But we have we have the slides. We have. I'm actually gonna do for the leadership meeting in San Diego. I'm gonna record a webinar of me doing the slides so that you all have like a recorded one that you can watch and learn and watch and learn and watch and learn, and your people can watch and learn so that you can pause and stop and pause and stop and learn. I know Eric and the one that we did in Phoenix is on there, but that's long and I don't want anybody to duplicate that long. That's a good one to send to people, but in terms of learning how to present it in a concise way, I'm going to record that on a webinar so that you can all practice, add your own you in there. Obviously you're not going to say some of the weird stuff that I say, and then you'll all be fantastic at it.
Okay, so perfect. So let's say I'm fairly new, and obviously, as you said, Wellness Wednesday did not start in some big room that fits 300 people. I mean, if I'm correct, it started like in your living room with.
Started in Mary and Jacob's old house, which was a converted church, and everybody sat on each other's laps. Okay, perfect. And can you just,
so if somebody's, thinking about starting their own Wellness Wednesday or whatever they want to call it, it could be on a Monday, whatever day it is, can you just kind of touch on, because you always talk to me about this, about how bad you felt you were when you first started. I mean, a lot of people will just look at you and say, well, it's so easy for Peta because she can articulate things so easy, and it was easy for her to start. And can you talk about the journey from when you first started and kind of the evolution of Wellness Wednesday? And so if I'm brand new, and I'm just looking to start in my living room, what would be kind of your input to me on how to get started, and maybe just kind of relating to your story about how you said you weren't very good when you first started?
Yeah, and that all comes back to courage too. Like, when the first question about courage is, you just have to have the courage to not be, you just have to have the courage to be okay with not knowing how it's going to go. That's the courage. I don't know how it's going to go, and that's okay, because the why is so much bigger than any fear I have of public speaking. And I'll just share a story about when I first started doing Wellness Wednesdays. I remember one of the first ones I did before we called it Wellness Wednesday was when I used to talk about the products, and I was a science brain, and I was very monotone, and I'd get a rash on my neck and I would get very red and I would have sweaty palms and I'd feel like I need to run to the toilet. Public speaking was not my thing. It was not, I wouldn't sleep the night before. It wasn't easy for me at the beginning, not at all. But I knew that somebody had to do it. I knew that to get this message across to numerous people, I had to just get better. No one blessed me with public speaking. No one said, here you go, Peter, here, have all the courage in the world to speak. It was the courage to do it because I just had to do it. And I had to be okay with whether it went good or whether it went bad. So at one of my first ever ones, I went to present and I had my projector here and it always stuffed up for me. The projector, it's like I had a tech curse. And I went and the room was packed. There was 30 people in this little room. It was like just a shoebox because people came to hear me talk about the products because I was just a science nerd, but I didn't know how to speak. It was one tone, nervous. I just made bad jokes. Anyway, I stood there. I was about to start, and my mum was there, and I had all the people who came just to come, and so I had some people there who I knew, and then in walks my ex-boyfriend who I hadn't seen in 2 years, and sits like it was like I was being punked, and sat right in the middle of the crowd as I was about to start the presentation, and with like a smirk on his face, like I didn't know whether he was there to like shoot water guns. I mean, like we were young back then. I mean, it was, you just don't know. And I went to speak and I saw him there and I actually just went like, I think something came out of my mouth that wasn't very good. I just had to just do it because I had a group of people who were actually serious about hearing me, and then the people who came out of pity, and then smack bang in the middle, my ex-boyfriend who I didn't see for 2 years, and I just had to do it. And I remember at the end of that, I just stormed out, and I was like, oh my God. And my mum I could see my mum and my best friend like, and I just remember thinking, I remember thinking I just got punked. There was someone that was in there punking me, and I remember that it couldn't get much worse after that. So I just practiced and I practiced and I practiced and I practiced and I practiced until I could just get up and be confident in myself, and then I could get up and just keep going. But there's a difference between that and the launch party. So for those who are doing a launch party, don't use slides. Don't use slides. Just use the videos, use Y-Axigenics, and there might be a new one coming soon, I don't know. But use the videos and use just activities. Who can make the most names, share stories, just so simple and fun. And just remember that you're going to suck. And then you'll probably suck the next time. And you'll probably suck the next time. But the courage is not caring if you suck. The courage is not getting up there and being fabulous. The courage is, I don't care if I suck because this is important. I don't care if I suck because I need to go through this to get good. And that's the same with the first question. How do you have the courage to go? The courage is, you know what, this is important. It's important to be financially free. It's important to lead a tribe. It's important to go first. It's important to build financial freedom for my family for generations to come. Therefore, my courage is in not really being attached to whether it's smooth or not. My courage is just getting up, committing, and going for it, and not caring if sometimes I slip on my face. Sometimes I sound stupid talking to someone on the plane. Sometimes I, whatever. It's the courage to, you know what, it might work easy, it might not, whatever, but the bottom line is it's important. And it's going to work. Whether it takes a long time, whether it doesn't, that's being okay with that, that's where the courage is.
I love that. And I love that you told that story because, I mean, it's, again, it's easy for people to think that, you're always good and, you're just gifted with this, incredible gift to just talk to people and it comes natural for you. But, and it's same thing for me, too. I remember, I used to sit in the audience at events and watch my parents speak when I was young. And I used to think there is no way that I could ever in my life ever do that. And I remember my first time up on stage, I mean, I turned green. I was like kind of mumbling into the mic. I had armpit stains out of my belt. I mean, it was bad. And so yeah, but it's about, as you said, just doing it and realizing that it's more important, the end game and the big vision is more important than me, sounding great the first time. And understand that we're all going to sound bad, we're all going to mess up, but as we do it, we're going to get better. And we're going to find things that work and things that don't work, and it's not, nothing's going to happen without action.
No.
So, and I'm glad you touched on launch parties versus just like launching Wellness Wednesday with slides, because the main thing we want to get across is just to start. I mean, whether it's a launch party in your home, showing the start video with the Isodenics, whatever videos you love, or whether it's putting on like a Wellness Wednesday with the slides, it's about being consistent week after week after week. And I'm so glad that you addressed kind of your template, your flow, the criteria, and I know a lot of people can take this and use it going forward. So that's huge. So we're going to wrap up here. I just want to know, obviously, since I live with you, I know that you've got a massive obsession with purchasing books and buying books. and I know you're in your library right now. So everybody wants to know what PK's reading. And I can be the one to say that she always has an audiobook in her ears. It's not music when she's going to the gym, working out. It's not when she's driving. It's not music. It is learning, constant learning, immersion. And it's one thing that just consistently blows me away is your desire to always grow and to be better. And so just why don't you share with everybody a few of your favorite books these days?
Yeah, but what you all have to know before I begin is that I read about 10 at one time, and I'll read it, and if I get what I need from the first 10 pages, I will stop. I don't need to go the whole mile. I don't care. If I get what I need at the beginning, stop. So I'm looking now. I just got 10 new ones today. I like reading about people. I'm reading Inside Apple right now because I'm obsessed with Steve Jobs. I'm always listening to the Tao. I love the Tao. I listen to Seth Godin daily. I listened to Peta. Okay, I'm just going to pull out one because otherwise I'm just going to go on and on and on.
Why don't you just turn the computer to show them your shelf?
Because it's not full yet. And there's some in there, and there's some over there. I just looked over when you said that and I saw a space and I thought I have to get on Amazon because it's a space. But I read about efficiency. I read about productivity. I go on Amazon and I find a good one like Inside Apple, and then I get all the other recommended ones. But you know, I'm going down the path right now of learning about Elon Musk, and I love learning about people and corporations and productivity. And then I also love doing the really woo-woo stuff like the cosmic universe and holographic healing and Osho and all that stuff. But I mean, just start with a book, go on Amazon, buy a book, and then go down and look at the recently viewed and then get all of them too. And then just start an obsession with books, like buy 15 a day like I do. And then that will really inspire you to get double PRVs because it's not cheap. Malcolm Gladwell, I just got a new one of his. I mean, I don't know if my book collection is very normal, but I'm just trying to pick one that would be really good for everyone now.
What's a good starter book? Like if you're just getting started.
This one. So The Big Leap. The Big Leap is one of my favorites of last year. The Big Leap by Guy Hendricks. That's a fantastic book, and it's about essentially when you become successful, there's like an upper limit, and everyone has one, and you got to bust through that, and everybody's is sort of similar. Mine is worry. I just have silly worry thoughts that aren't real. Some is fear of outshining, fear of burdening, and it's just about acknowledging what's your ceiling and getting through it. So I think that's a great one for people who are wanting to go to the next level. Is The Big Leap.
Awesome. I still got to read that one. Okay, well, I mean, everybody's going crazy right now in the chat. It's so exciting to watch. We've got almost 1,000 people watching live. This is just the best. And, I mean, on just behalf of everybody, just thank you for being the greatest gift to the planet. I love you. And for those who are watching this and you've just gotten so much information, just share this, share this with everybody that's in your group, that, share it and start. share these start talks, because so many of the questions that we get every single day on the group, they've been answered so many times on the start talks, and it just really takes going in and watching and educating yourself, and seeing how different people would answer these questions. So again, go on YouTube, type in start talk, and literally all of them will come up, the ones that we've done in the past. I know this one has been a massive hit, and so share this one. Use this as a tool. If anybody is asking, how to do a Wellness Wednesday or a launch party, make sure you send them to, what Peta talked about in the hour that we've really shared together. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And again, we will be hosting the next Start Talk next month on the first Monday of August, right before celebration. Celebration's about 41 days away, I think. We got an epic start party. Everybody get to executive so you can come to the start party. Crystal executive by July 15th. I know PK is doing a live Twitter chat, so you can ask any questions that you have to Peta. Maybe some that didn't get answered here. You can go on Twitter, and that is when? Wednesday?
Wednesday at 3:30 Arizona time.
3:30 Arizona time. So get your Twitter account ready. You can ask Peta anything on that, and she'll be just answering your questions live. So thanks, honey, for being on, and thanks, everybody. Love y'all. See you next time.